In this video I'm going to show you how to install PHP on Mac OS X. There's a separate video for Windows users, so if you're on Windows, skip this video entirely. Setting up PHP used to be a complicated process, but that's no longer the case thanks to integrated packages that install all the necessary components automatically. Several are available, but the one I've chosen is MAMP, which installs the Apache web server, a full-featured version of PHP, and several other components, including the open-source MySQL database. We won't be using MySQL in this workshop, but you'll almost certainly need it as you learn more about PHP. In your browser, go to this URL, www.mamp.info/en/index.html. MAMP comes in two versions, MAMP, which is free, and MAMP Pro, a paid-for version with some useful administrative features. The free version contains everything you need for this workshop. Click the Download Now button. This downloads a zip file that contains both the basic version and the commercial version. There's no obligation to use the commercial version if you don't want it, and the basic version doesn't have a time limit. It always remains free. When the download has finished and been unzipped, double-click the MAMP package icon to launch the installation and follow the instructions on screen. You need to accept the license agreement and install for all users on this computer. There's no need to change the install location. By default, it goes into your Applications folder. Enter your Mac administrative password when prompted. And the installation process is quite quick. Close the installer program and switch to your Applications folder. Double-click the MAMP folder and double-click the MAMP icon. This launches the MAMP control panel, which starts up the Apache and MySQL servers and immediately launches your browser with a Welcome to MAMP page. Notice that the URL in the browser begins with localhost:8888. Localhost is the name of the web server running on your local computer, and the 8888 indicates that Apache is listening for requests on a non-standard port. MAMP configures Apache and MySQL to run on non-standard ports to avoid possible conflicts with existing programs, but it's best to change to the standard ports. Switch to the MAMP control panel, click Preferences, and then Ports at the top of the panel here, and then click Set to Default Apache and MySQL ports. You see that has changed the port number to 80 for Apache and 3306 for MySQL. And to confirm the change, click OK. And MAMP tries to restart the servers. You'll have to insert your Mac administrative password. Click OK. And when both servers have started up again, you should see two green lights. Now, if you don't see two green lights, if they fail to start up, that means there is a conflict with another program, and I'll explain a little later what you need to do in that case. But assuming that you've got two green lights, instead of using localhost:8888, you now need to change it to localhost just on its own. So if you remove that 8888 and the colon and press enter, you should see the MAMP welcome screen. If you tried it with the :888 after the localhost, you'd see a message saying that the server couldn't be found. But this indicates that your testing environment is now working correctly. When testing with PHP, Apache and MySQL always need to be running. If you want to turn them off, go into the MAMP control panel and click Quit. But remember that each time that you want to test, you need to start up MAMP again. Actually, there's no problem leaving MAMP running all the time, even when you're in sleep mode. Apache and MySQL servers take up very few resources indeed. So if MAMP is working correctly, you can ignore the rest of this video. You've got a working PHP development environment. But if you fail to get these two green lights when you change the Apache and MySQL ports, it means another program is probably using port 80. So go back into the MAMP preferences and click Reset MAMP Ports. That changes them back to the original 8888 and 8889. And then click OK to confirm the change. After resetting the MAMP defaults, you always need to add :8888 after localhost in the URL of your testing environment. But apart from that, everything should work exactly the same.